Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm going to do a fairly straightforward comparison of probably two of the best budget Teles style guitar options on the market right now. And this is just one man's opinion, being myself, right? So don't start throwing daggers at me about the ratings and the numbers and values that I've given each of these guitars. But I've done an assessment of both of these guitars based on owning them for a while and playing them for a while, and I'll give you my opinion on how they stack up. This is not going to be a demo of these guitars. I have videos on the channel where I've demoed both of these guitars, so you can go to them, hear them, listen to them, check out other videos on YouTube to see what the guitars sound like. But I'm going to do a basic sound comparison, and that's about it. But the primary purpose of this video is to give you my assessment of how these guitars compare with each other. So, what do we have? First off, we have the Tease SBHE series Telecaster style guitar that just recently came on the marketplace. I believe they've started to ship as of August 20th. So they just recently started shipping. And then next to it, we have the recently released Jaymz Popcaster TL or Tele style guitar, right? So let's first, as I always do, give a more of an in-depth feature function of both guitars, and then we can get into the assessment, if that makes sense. So, both of these guitars are made in China. Both of them are China manufactured instruments. They both come in a variety of different colors, right? Right here we have the silver Tease in silver. And then next to it we have the Jaymz in its flame maple top with sunburst finish. The Tease also comes in about 6 other colors, right, that you can get it in. So you have a wide variety of color options with the Tease, and also a fairly wide variety of like 6 colors with the Jaymz. Now the Jaymz has predominantly burst finishes on the top, whereas the Tease are mostly metallic flaked finishes on their guitars. Tease also has, as you can quickly see, a pickguard, where the Jaymz has a clear pickguard. Right? There's a pickguard on there, believe it or not, but it is clear plastic of some type. The Tease has a poplar body. The Jaymz has a mahogany body and a flame maple top. Now, how the woods compare from a weight standpoint, interestingly enough, is that this Tease is noticeably heavier than the Jaymz. Okay? The Tease comes in at about 8.4 pounds on my scale, and the Jaymz comes in at 7.1 pounds. So there's over 1.5 pounds difference between these guitars in weight, meaning that the Tease is heavier than the Jaymz, if that's of any interest to anybody. In terms of body contours, they both have nice contours. As you can see here, this Tease has a nice belly carve with a nice scalloped neck joint here, right? So it has the recessed or sloped neck carve, as well as an additional carve here on the lower bout. So, you have your comfort carves on this guitar. It is a string through, as you can see. This guy here, the Jaymz, also a string through, has more of a deep belly carve, right? It's an interesting belly carve. Probably not as wide as the Tease, but it goes down deeper. And it has also an additional cutout on the lower bout. Does not have the sloped or recessed shoulder joint, scalloped, whatever you want to call it, recessed joint here, right? What else? Let's see here. Bodies are, I would say, about, well, let's turn it around so we can see here. About the same thickness on the bodies. I don't know if you could see that, how well you could see that, but the bodies are pretty much the same in terms of thickness. Put this here. Okay. Both have roasted maple fretboards and necks on the guitars. The Tease has more of a traditional, I would say, C-shaped neck in terms of thickness. It feels like your typical medium C shaped neck. The Leo Jaymz clearly has a thinner neck. I would say it's a thin C. That's how I would describe it. Medium C on the Tease, thin C on the Leo Jaymz. Now, the interesting thing is that the Tease has a 12-inch radius on the fretboard. This is described as having an 8.97-inch radius, which would make it more vintage style, but it does not feel like that. It does not feel thicker like that. It feels thinner, on the thinner side, which is interesting. So I'm not really sure where that radius comes in, but in any event, the Leo Jaymz has a thinner neck, if that's what you're going for. But both necks are not thick, not baseball bat thick, in either way. Stainless steel frets, both guitars. Excellent on both guitars. They're rounded stainless steel frets on the Tease. They are rounded stainless steel frets on the Leo Jaymz. So they're both excellent from a fret standpoint. The tuners, 18-to-1 gear ratio, locking tuners. You can see that, locking tuners on both guitars. This guy also has, if you can see, locking tuners. So they're both 18-to-1 gear ratio locking tuners. They both have bone nuts, extremely well cut bone nuts. They both have Alnico 5 pickups. This guy here has a humbucker. It's a rail humbucker at the bridge and a single at the neck. This can be split, coil split, with this switch here, whereas the Leo Jaymz just has your traditional single coil Tele pickup in the bridge and a single at the neck. So the main difference here on the pickups is that you get a little bit more versatility on the Tease with the humbucker, the rail humbucker in the bridge. That can be coil split. Frets, 22 on both guitars. Medium jumbo frets on the Tease. Medium frets, I would say, on the Leo Jaymz. They both have truss rod adjustments at the bottom of the neck. However, the Tease has a pinwheel adjustment here for the truss rod, which is very nice. Leo Jaymz, I don't know why, I've mentioned this in my other video, has the truss rod adjustment here, but you have to stick an Allen wrench in, and it's it's a little bit of a challenge to fit it in here to adjust the truss rod at the base of the neck. Now, you kind of have to some extent, push this pickup back a little bit, but it can be done without taking the pickup out. But it's kind of a tight space, and I'm not sure exactly why. From a design standpoint, Leo Jaymz did this and not put a wheel here at the base of the neck. Interesting. Where are we? Let's see. Humbucker, single, single, single. We went over that. You do get a gig bag with the Tease. It's a thin one, but it's a gig bag all the same. You don't get any gig bag with the Leo Jaymz. One volume, one tone on the Tease. One volume, one tone on the Leo Jaymz. Three-way toggle switch. With the little top hat on the Tease, three-way on the Leo Jaymz. What else? Let's see here. So that's it from a specification standpoint on both guitars. Now let's talk about my assessment. Now I based my assessment of these guitars on 6 categories. First one being looks, right? Overall appearance, looks of the guitar, and that's important to some extent, right, to some people, because the better the guitar looks in some cases, the more you're going to pick it up and play it or show it to other people or leave it out on display or whatever your criteria is. But because of 2 things, I gave the edge to this Leo Jaymz. And it's a personal thing, right? Everybody's going to have a different feel on this. That's why I said don't shoot the messenger here. I like the Leo Jaymz better because I like the headstock. It's closer to a Telecaster proper headstock, whereas the Tease's headstock is still closer to a Strat style headstock. And I'm a conventional guy, right? A purist. I like the way the Leo Jaymz, and I also like the fact that it has that roasted maple finish on the headstock as well. So I'm giving that nod, as well as the burst finish, the flame maple finish on the top, which is a veneer, to the metallic flake solid finish on the Tease. I happen to like wood finishes and flamed maple finishes. So as a result, out of 5, right, I'm doing these categories 1 through 5, 1 being the lowest score, 5 being obviously the highest score. I gave Leo Jaymz a 5 for looks and the Tease a 4 because of the headstock and the solid top versus the flame. From a playability standpoint, and this playability is just picking the guitar up and being a novice like myself, a home hobbyist. I don't want to have a guitar that I'm going to have to rush off to a guitar tech to have the action fixed, or silly little things where it's buzzing and nut issues and string height issues and whatever. I'd love to be able to take a guitar out of a box and play it. So that's how I'm ranking playability out of the box. Both guitars were excellent, right? The Tease, as you know, Torsten does a very good job of personally looking at his instruments before he ships them out. And this thing had no string buzzing, no issues whatsoever. Just a really, really nicely set up guitar, right? Yeah, it really is no issues, no buzzing, no sharp fret ends. String height was set perfectly. Intonation was spot on. Yeah, so this guitar was really, really good right out of the box, right? The Leo Jaymz, similarly, was set up really nice out of the box. There was no string buzzing, no sharp fret ends. The string height was nice and low, about as low as you're going to get before buzzing. From an action standpoint, just overall finishing quality of this guitar was really good. No issues. Now, the only issue I had with this thing was that, like I mentioned before, which is a nice crack in the finish, right? Nice ding on this guitar. So it affected the score, because I don't believe it was done in transit. I think this was on the guitar before it shipped out. So it might be a QC overlook, or it got damaged at the plant and then shipped. I don't know. I can't honestly say how it happened. But because of this, I'm giving the build quality edge to Tease. So they're getting a 5 on that. And I'm giving a 4 to Leo Jaymz. And the other reason being that has a little bit more versatility, the Tease. It has that coil split switch on it where you can split the humbucker to a single. So you have added versatility on there where this is just 2 single coil pickups. Now, that could go against you for some people, right? If you're a purist and want a Tele as traditional Teles are with a single and a single, and you don't want any humbucker in the bridge, well, then you might not rank it that way. But that's what I did in any event. So far we have a 5 for looks for the Leo Jaymz, a 4 for looks for the Tease, 5 and 5 for playability. Both were finished and playable out of the box. A 5 from a build quality standpoint for the Tease, a 4 from a build quality standpoint for the Leo Jaymz. Now we get to sound. Now, that's another personal thing, right? The pickups in the Tease, they're both Alnico 5 pickups, but the pickups in the Tease are clearly higher output pickups than in the Leo Jaymz. And it might have something to do with the humbucker, right? The rail humbucker. But clearly louder pickups in this guitar than there are in the Leo Jaymz. So I'll give you an example, right? Let me just get this out for 1 second. Okay. All right, so I'm going to start out with the Leo Jaymz. The amp is my usual amp. It's my Gamma 25 watt. Settings are going to be identical. I'm not touching them. So the amp is going to be set to clean for both these guitars. And I'll let you hear what it sounds like with the Leo Jaymz and then with the Tease, all 3 settings. So here is the neck pickup, and then we'll go right to middle to the bridge. Full volume up, full tone. And now the middle pickup. And now just the bridge. Okay, now we'll go over to the Tease. All right, plug her in. Neck pickup. Middle. Bridge. And now I have it in the non-split position, right? That was split before, so it was the single all the way through. Now you're hearing the humbucker. So you can hear it's significantly louder, right? Non-humbucker and split mode. Now it's non-split. So yeah, you can hear that volume swell, right? And we'll play just basic notes. Oops. Okay. humbucker. So, the humbucker clearly makes a difference, obviously, right? From a volume standpoint. Overall, I think the pickups on the Tease, at least to my ears, are a little bit more balanced and sound a little fuller to me than the pickups on the Leo Jaymz. The pickups on the Leo Jaymz are a little thinner sounding, but again, if you're playing clean mostly, and you're, a purist and you want more of a telly, more of that telly twang, you might like the pickups on this guy better, on the Leo Jaymz. However, if you're a metal player or a rock player and you want the versatility and you want to be able to kick into the distortion and the metallic side of playing, you're definitely going to like the Tease better than you are the Leo Jaymz. So it really depends upon what type of music, you're into and you play. There'll probably be some that prefer the Leo Jaymz and there'll be some that prefer the Tease. Both guitars are great. Both guitars, interestingly enough, in terms of my assessment, came out on an even plane. For example, the Tease got a 4 for looks, whereas the Leo Jaymz got a 5 for looks. The Tease got a 5 for playability, whereas the Leo Jaymz also got a 5 for playability out of the box. Build quality, Tease got a 5. Build quality, Leo Jaymz got a 4. Sound, I gave a 4 to Tease. I gave a 3 to Leo Jaymz. Just a little bit on the thin side, in my opinion. Support, both companies provide excellent service and support. 5 for both companies. Overall value, right? Now, I gave the nod on overall value to Leo Jaymz simply because this is a budget guitar channel. A lot of the folks on this channel are looking for, the best bang for the buck, right? And the lowest, in some cases, outlay of cash. The Leo Jaymz is $149.99 right now on Amazon. If you're looking for another color, a green, I think you can get it for even $139.99. The Tease is $297.95. So it's about a $150 difference, $150 more for the Tease versus the Leo Jaymz. You are getting a gig bag with the Tease. You are getting a humbucker and a coil split capability with the Tease. So those things taken into consideration might be worth that extra money. Your call. Guys, if you like these videos, and again, the total score for both before I go was 27. So they came in even, flat, dead even in terms of the value. 27 out of 30 for both the Tease and the Leo Jaymz, my assessment of the Teles. If you like these videos, please subscribe. Please share the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments about both of these guitars. Do you agree with my assessment? Do you disagree? You have your own? Do you have any other comments? Put them below. And until the next one, guys, be well. See you soon. Take care.